Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, that's what everyone kind of grew up on. But the anime that, like, made me say to myself, I'm going to love anime for the rest of my life, was Shadow Skill. I came home one day, like, in, like, 7th grade, and HBO was on, and it was, like, the tail end of Shadow Skill, at the, like, the final battle, like, the climax of the film, and, like, a switch just clicked in my head, and I said to myself as the credits were rolling, I'm gonna love anime for the rest of my life.
So when you guys started, oh, so you were in no, I'm sorry, junior high.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you first hear about cosplay?
I actually didn't really know what cosplay was until in high school, but I dressed up before that. Like, I did Harry Potter and I did Naruto. So it's kind of weird that, like, cosplay was, like, an after thing that I found out, like, hey, you can do this outside of Halloween. And that was with the internet, because I didn't really have a community of cosplayers until, like, high school when the internet was, like, really big.
What was your first cosplay?
Probably my first, like, real cosplay was Sakura from Naruto, and that was, like, Halloween sophomore year of high school. I made my entire anime club dress up with me.
Oh, you had an anime club in high school?
Yeah, I started it.
Oh, you started an anime club?
Yeah, I had my own little set of minions. And I did it in college, too. I had an anime club in college.
Oh, wow, okay. So you really are kind of diehard into it if you're, like, starting clubs and so forth.
Yeah.
So, were you aware of conventions when you were in junior high?
Well, actually, my first convention that I went to, it was Big Apple Anime Con. It was funny because I didn't go there, like as an attendee to, like, buy, like, I didn't buy, like, a badge or anything to go there. It was actually a friend of mine whose sister was working, at the con doing some kind of, like, upper level thing, and she snuck us in with staff t-shirts on, so we had to run around the convention pretending we were staff on break the entire time, so it wasn't a very fun time. It was like a bunch of kids just pretending that we weren't working. It was weird.
So, but it gave you a taste of what it was like, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And back then, cosplay wasn't even that big. I don't really remember seeing people dressed up.
What year was this around?
Like 2002, 2003?
When do you think it started getting bigger?
I'm not really sure. It kind of just all exploded, and, like, in college was when I've, like, found, like, a big group of friends who, like, cosplayed all the time, like, in my anime club, and they introduced me to, like, going to cons every other month rather than just, like, once every few years.
Wow.
So since college, I've been going to cons, like, at least twice a year, and then these past 2 years, I've been going to, like, 10 conventions a year.
Okay, that's completely crazy. You can
Yeah.
take over my job. I don't really want to do it anymore. Yeah, take my job over. I don't care. So when you got started cosplay, were you very crafty at first? Were you more like, hey, I could get this on eBay or something like that?
Yeah, when I first started, like, I didn't have any true mentors. I just had friends who, they sewed, but they didn't teach me how to sew, and occasionally I would ask them to make me an outfit. But generally, I just bought my things online or, like, did a cosplay, and now I've learned that I can just, like, commission people to make things for me while I struggle with my sewing machine and, like, learn to make all these things. Like, I don't have to, you know, bury myself in my work. I can just, like, ask somebody else, here's $500, make me this outfit. I think that's great because it gives them money to do what they want. They can continue their business, and I can help spread the word, and at the same time, like, I will have a costume that I'm happy with rather than a costume that's falling apart at the seams, which will happen.
I'm going to assume you have stories of that happening, because I hear from a lot of cosplayers, they kind of start, like, the Sunday, they start kind of, like, falling apart.
Yeah, a bunch of my costumes are held together, kind of just with glue and tape, and I've been learning better techniques to glue them together and whatnot. Yeah.
How do you learn these new techniques? Like, do you just ask people?
Yeah, like, trial and error. Like, I a lot of Reddit and cosplay.com and Facebook, just asking people, like, what is this? How do I adhere it? Like, right now I'm having an issue where this like silicone mold I made isn't sticking to latex, and I have to scrap all of the silicone molds that I made and make latex molds. It's really frustrating.
Wow. I noticed on your table you're already getting to all that. But I guess now today with the internet and everything, you have a community online that can actually help you out with this.
Yeah, and like what's nice is that like there's always somebody who I can ask, and if I can't do it myself, then I can pay them to do it for me. Support artists.
Yeah. So when you started cosplaying, you've been dressing up ever since you were a kid anyway for Halloween. Did your parents have any problem when you started shifting to like? Oh, they had problems? Oh, wait, this is the Asian parent thing?
Oh, yeah. My parents are very, very traditional Asian, and they think that I'm going to grow out of this eventually. I'm 24. I pay my own rent. I have jobs. I'm on a career path. I still haven't given this hobby up. Well, I've been doing it for a lot of my life, but the past 2 years, since like 2011, I guess, is when I really made it a concentration and made it 50% of my life. Because prior to that, it was maybe 20% of my life, and now it's taken over my life.
It's taken over your life?
Yeah.
Are your folks okay with it now?
Not as much. I don't talk about it to them. I'll mention every once in a while that I'm going to an anime con. It's nice that I don't live with them. Then I don't have to tell them things that they don't need to know.
Yeah, I know that. So, okay, but do you have any brothers or sisters? Are they into it too?
I have 3 sisters. There's 4 girls in my family. I am the only one who is doing the kinds of things that I do. All of them are very, very normal girls, living normal lives. They're slightly artistic, but definitely not as...
What is the best thing that you get out of cosplay? Like, what is it, and what makes you happy?
Oh, man. Cosplay itself, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what draws me to it and what's so fulfilling about it. I keep trying to put it into words every time someone asks me. The fact that I get to embody the character that I love, all of the hard work that it took to make the costume, the way the photographs come out and how it just looks so awesome, and like my ability to escape from reality, to be a kid again, to be part of this community of cosplayers, that's awesome. It's not just one thing that draws me to cosplay. There's just talking about it gives me chills. Like, I love cosplay so much, and it's kind of unexplainable.
Okay, what do you think are the positive aspects of cosplay? Just not to you specifically, but just in general.
With cosplay, I love the fact that it has brought people together that previously and before the internet, nerds and geeks have been shut in their rooms and unable to just reach out to like-minded people, and going to conventions and cosplaying has really helped everyone with their social skills, making friends, finding like-minded people, and a lot of people have learned how to do things that they otherwise wouldn't have learned. Sewing, craft making. Yeah, it's really awesome what it's done for the community and the kind of people that it brings together, and I think it's just so positive and filled with love.
Okay, on the opposite side of the coin, what is the negative parts of cosplay?
The negative parts of cosplay is that I don't have any more money.
I hear that a lot.
I am so broke from cosplay. Burlesque actually pays for my cosplay hobby. If it wasn't for the fact that I had burlesque, paychecks all the time, then I wouldn't be able to afford cosplay. Because, like, my day job supports my, like, eating and rent, and then burlesque supports my cosplay, so it's like this...
It's kind of circle.
And the cons is that unfortunately a lot of people have been acting as elitists in cosplay just because they've been doing it longer, or they have better skills, they have better body types, and they feel the need to belittle other people who don't do as well as they do, and that sucks. That's why a lot of people don't cosplay, is because there's people out there belittling them for being overweight, not knowing how to sew, not having the right makeup or wig or shoes, and that's just petty, and it's wrong, because cosplay is about embodying the character and becoming someone that you otherwise couldn't have become without these awesome clothes. And nobody is exempt from that. Everyone should be able to do that, because it's from our hearts. And then another thing another con is that there's all these scantily clad outfits, and that's what the character is that the artist drew the character specifically to be fan service. And when girls dress up as these characters, even if it's accurate to the 100%, there's still going to be people out there who say slanderous things about that costume because apparently being confident in your body is a bad thing. And it's unfortunate, and I really want to work to end these negative viewpoints, the slut shaming in a way, because it has caused a lot of girls to just, it makes them really upset. You know, they worked really hard, they gathered all this courage to put themselves out there in an outfit that they think that makes them look beautiful, and then you have other people who just make them feel ugly and make them feel like horrible people for, why would you walk outside with that? Like, what does your mother say about you? That's what I want to do. I want to dress up the way I dress up. These girls want to dress up the way they dress up, and you should show them love because they worked their ass off to look like that.
Now, do you think that this is happening online or in person?
Generally it's online. And not a lot of people approach people in face-to-face and tell them, like, you know, like, pull down your skirt, your butt's showing. You know, they don't really generally say that. It's usually a lot of online slandering, and it's usually behind their backs.
Okay. Have you had any experiences like this in real life, in person?
In person, no. And actually, even online, I've been really fortunate to, like, have avoided a lot of these, like, situations where people have called me out or anything. Like, almost nobody have, and I'm wondering, maybe somehow I've owned up to this image of myself of being a very sexual person. But I've seen plenty of girls out there who, like, I'll read through their comments of this gorgeous photo that was taken of them, and one of the comments will be like, "Oh, look at that slut." But I'm glad that I haven't been victim to this, but I want to stop anyone from being victim to it.
Have you seen this happen, like, not to you specifically, but to people you know at conventions?
Yeah. I've seen plenty. Well, like, I haven't seen it in life where someone comes up to them and tells them that, you know, they look scantily clad and they're slutty and whatnot. But I've seen it online all the time, everywhere, and it's unfortunate.
Do you think this happens, like, in all the different type of fandoms, not just specific fandoms?
Yeah.
Like games, anime, comic books, they're all...
I think the one that is the getting the most hate is comic book cosplayers.
Oh, because the whole geek girl thing that's been going around for...
Yeah, the fake geek girl thing.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a fake geek girl because we all love things. We all love our hobbies. How does that make us fake?
And the funny thing is, I always tell people, like, you know, people start from somewhere. Like, you can't, like, say that about anybody because, basically we all start from somewhere, and there's no way that somebody can catch up with the history of whatever it is within a specific amount of time unless they've been doing it for a while.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, everyone, even if the girl that you're slandering just started reading Batman, she just started reading Batman. Yay! That's awesome! She's gonna read more Batman. She's gonna read more Spider-Man. She's gonna get into it. Isn't that what we always wanted?
Yeah.
We wanted that in high school. We wanted that in college when everyone was picking on us for the things we liked. But now, everyone is gonna like the things we like, and they understand who we are. We want that, don't we?
Definitely. So how can we change that? What can we do?
The only way to change it is to do not fight fire with fire. Really, calling these people out for slut shaming in like harsh ways is not the way to do it. The best way to do it is to continue doing what we do, and we're being as professional as we can. And when it's necessary, yes, yell at these people who are saying the terrible things online. But generally, continue being a geek, continue cosplaying, continuing being the person that you want to be, and not let these negative people ruin your time. And I think that over the course of time, eventually, the idea of fake geek girl is just going to disappear because no one will be fake.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned previously before you started to be more kind of hardcore about cosplay within the last 2 years. What was the point? What inspired you to kind of go into it full force?
A bunch of my friends were starting to get really serious about cosplay. I was in college with them, and it was right around when I graduated college and I I'm done with school now. Like, what do I do with my life? And I realized that now that I'm a grown up, I totally want to dress up all the time and spend all my money on costumes and figurines. And a bunch of my friends they had their cosplay accounts on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, I should make one. And I started making one. And then a friend of mine introduced me to burlesque. And then I decided that I will make cosplay and burlesque my full-time hobby. And so they have been working in tandem with each other. I started them at the pretty much exact same time. And they've both grown exponentially. Yeah.
Yay! So when at this point, how do you figure? Well, how much do you actually spend on your costumes? How much do you actually have somebody else work on them, because it's kind of tough. When you have a life and you have jobs and so forth, you have to kind of balance it out. Like, how do you figure out what parts to farm out and what parts to handle yourself?
So I always tell myself, oh, I'll just make all of that. And then the convention's a month away and I can't. So I outsource to my friends who are amazing, professional seamstresses. So this outfit actually was made by my friend Juanita, and she is a seamstress for trapeze artists. So a lot of her costumes are very spandexy and stretchy, and they go through wear and tear. And it's great. And she has made 2 other outfits for me. I love this costume. I've worn it a lot. It's starting to. I'm probably gonna retire it soon, just because I've worn it so many times that it's getting a little grody. But yeah, I couldn't have done this costume myself with my sewing skills, and because she's a professional seamstress, I trusted her, and she delivered. And this costume's amazing. I mean, I made the props, but this costume is 100% because she is such an amazing person.
I'm kind of curious. So does she have a background that relates to comic books, geeks, or at all?
No, she doesn't have any idea of any of the things that I do. I show her the pictures I want to cosplay, and she's like, "Oh, so is this for a performance or a burlesque act?" I'm like, "No, it's just to walk around in. That's kind of it."
Well, I'm sure by now she's more aware of the whole cosplay scene, because I'm sure other people have been approaching her too.
Yeah. I've been advertising this outfit and telling everyone Juanita made it for me, so hopefully she's been getting a lot of calls her way. That's
great. How do you find commissioners?
Make friends. This is all the people I found were word of mouth.
Okay.
So I have not only do I get stuff for cosplay, but I also get stuff made for burlesque, because burlesque is a whole different, you have to make evening gowns, and you have to be able to strip out of your evening gowns, so I find friends who will make me pieces for cosplay as well as burlesque, and Juanita is the person who does both for me, because my first outfit I commissioned from her was an Evangelion, Rei Ayanami costume that I was able to strip out of, and I have a Evangelion burlesque act now. And then I found another girl who's a latex seamstress. Yeah, she's amazing. Her name's her company's called Vengeance Designs, and she's quite popular now. Annie Mia has an outfit from her. Cassandra Lay has an outfit from her. Various other famous cosplayers have latex from her now.
Cool beans. How do you figure out where to get other stuff, like wigs, how to make props, how do you, let's go with the wigs. How do you figure out what, I know people tell me they go on eBay, but there's a lot of stuff on eBay. How do you figure out what's even the right one, and how do you even know the picture's even right?
Yeah, I mean, wigs are really hit or miss on eBay, but generally I've had really positive experiences with eBay because a lot of the wigs are from China, and a lot of the wigs are really, really good quality because they are not only supplying America with wigs, but they're supplying like Japan and like their own Chinese cosplayers, and these cosplayers are like insanely good. So they upped their quality of their wigs, and the wigs are like way better than any wigs that I can find here in the States. Like if I wanted to find a good wig here in the States that is like a bright purple color, it's probably going to be like $300 versus like $30 on eBay. Yeah.
So what about, I know it's the last few years, like in America at cons, you will see a lot of wig dealers now. Like I think there's about 3 to 5 major ones or something like that.
Yeah. They're pretty good. I generally still buy on eBay just because they're cheaper, and I'm used to buying from them rather than like from the sellers here in the States. I will say that Gothic Lolita Wigs is a damn good wig merchandiser. This distributor, their wigs are really high quality. They don't tangle. They have brilliant colors. All their wigs are like mixed colors so that it doesn't look like this like flat uniformed like fake wig from Halloween Adventure. They've got really good stuff.
Okay. I only question about that because like though I haven't bought wigs, I know the way I am is like I like to see something before I actually buy it, you know. So that's why I'm always curious about people who buy stuff off eBay, especially wigs, because how do you know how the quality is? How do you know that stuff?
What's nice about wigs is that if it's too long, you can trim it down. Like this wig was actually too long. It came down to here, and I had to trim it myself.
Oh, that reminds me. I've been seeing wig commissioners. Have you heard of wig commissioners?
Yeah, I totally support that. There are things I cannot do with wigs, and that I will gladly ask somebody else to make for me. Yeah, that's great because like there's some wigs that have like big pieces on them and like attachments, and I can't figure that out. I'm just gonna go find that girl who do it for me.
Okay, let's move on to the props to the props thing. I'm assuming you're self-taught and everything you learn is probably from in the internet or probably just talking to people.
Yeah. A lot of things I've been doing with props are all self-taught from the internet. A lot of burning myself, a lot of noxious fumes. I have a respirator now. I should have gotten one like a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so, just, like, working, learning, interneting, a lot of trial and error. I had to throw away a lot of props that just, like, didn't work. Yeah.
So it's a lot of trial and error, basically. Lots of trial and error. Another question. So another question, I kind of been asking this question on and off for people, is costuming or cosplay? What's the difference?
Oh, for me, there's not much difference. The only thing about cosplay is that it's a specific character. You're not really making your own thing, but you're making something off of someone else's artistic creation, and you're just creating it into real life. But cosplay is a form of costuming, and what we all do is costuming. We just choose to make something from someone else's image rather than our own image.
Okay. Now, since you're based here in New York City, I'm not that familiar with the East Coast as much, but what are the conventions that you go to, or what are the conventions around here for anime and comic books and so forth?
I only really want to go to the big ones, because the little ones are like, I can spend $100 to go to this little one, or I can save it to go to this big one. I like to go to New York Comic Con, Katsucon, Anime Boston. I used to go to Kineticon, and what else do I go to? Oh gosh. A whole bunch of them, but I can't remember them off the top of my head.
What about gaming conventions? Do you go like MagFest?
I haven't gone to MagFest. I've gone to PAX East. I'm going again this year. And I go to DexCon, which is tabletop gaming. Gen Con Indie, also tabletop and like all geekery. And Escapist, which is a video game one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about other ones like Baltimore Comic Con?
I haven't gone to any Comic Cons lately, besides the New York Comic Con. Yeah.
But, it really depends on people, too, because some people are more geared toward comic books versus, anime and so forth, so,
Yeah. I like to go to cons that are fan-run rather than corporate-run, because at the fan cons, I feel like a better connection with my community, whereas at industry cons, it's like, buy this thing!
Oh, in a weird way, isn't that always buy this thing when you go to dealer hall?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I try not to buy things, but I do. And that's why I don't have money.
What is your biggest addiction outside cosplay?
Outside of cosplay?
Don't say buying figurines, because that's...
Well, biggest addiction outside of
Yeah.
cosplay?
It's pretty much cosplay.
Watching anime, burlesque, what do I do with my life?
What do you do with your life, dude?
I don't really
it's
have
probably
any
cosplay.
I don't really have any other hobbies. Oh my god. Well, my life is so empty now.
But it's so filled with color and people.
Yeah,
and so
well,
forth,
yeah, burlesque takes up a huge part of my life because it's my part-time job. So, like, everything that stems from burlesque, which is a lot of running around naked.
Okay. Wait, so you're doing a panel at Katsucon?
Yeah, I'm going to be running a panel at Katsucon. It's called No Means No, Defense Against Fanboys and Fangirls. It's basically a panel, like, despite its title, the goal of the panel is to teach people self-confidence, be able to hold a conversation properly with somebody they've never met before, and to just kind of be able to be empathetic and read the signs in social situations. And the reason why I made this panel is because there's plenty of people out there who accidentally gave away their phone number to that person who they really didn't want to give their phone number to, and now they have a stalker. And it's this panel, I've been running it for a few years, and it's kind of evolved since now I am this like burlesque cosplayer. So my experiences have really changed and now fueled and this panel, because I've learned like how to deal with people who are really, really forward, people who want something from me that I'm not willing to give away, they're asking questions that are inappropriate, things like that. And like I've learned how to command conversations to go in the direction that I want to go, and I know how to say no to somebody when they ask me for something that I don't want to give them. So it could be something as simple as like, oh, can I put my arm around you when I'm taking a photo? I'm like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. And you'd be surprised at the amount of people who can't say those words. They're just like, oh yeah, I guess you can, and then they're touching them and they're just like, oh. And their friends come and say rescue them, and that shouldn't happen. That's not right. Conventions should be a safe environment in which everyone feels that they can just approach somebody and not assume that there's going to be any ulterior motives to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to teach people to kind of open themselves up and communicate the right way.
That actually sounds like a pretty good panel. You know, I haven't heard of anybody doing something that's similar of a fashion before. There's always been something like sociology of cosplay, psychology of cosplay.
Yeah, and there's also been like
different.
confidence 101 classes too, but I feel like this particular panel is going to focus on a very specific topic, especially for people who cosplay.